Hey, it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for December 2022. So welcome to December. Of course, many of us thinking that this is the last month in the new calendar, which you wouldn't be wrong. It would be the 12th month, of course, and the number 12 results down to a number 3, which means that things are changing. We have a little bit of a foundation put under our feet, and now we're being asked to where it is that we want to go with it. We have to kind of get a new narrative, a new perspective, a new, I'm going to say, focus on what it is that we actually want to bring to life. Now, if we were to focus on the old calendar, December would actually be the 10th month. Dec, right? Deca is a prefix for the number 10. And of course, in numerology, 10 kind of gets reduced down to a number 1, which is a brand new beginning, a brand new clean slate, a brand new fresh start. Now, seeing as we just came out of November, where, we were still very much in eclipse season and in Scorpio season, which triggered and activated the great transformation of soul self, where there was a lot of death, a lot of damage, a lot of destruction in order to clean the slate and peel back the layers of our truest self in order to show us where it is that we needed to reinvent ourselves, rebirth ourselves, resurrect and renew ourselves in a new form, a new version of who it is that we need to be. Huge level ups. And of course, we switched into Sag energy, which is the light at the end of what has been the very dark Scorpio tunnel. We have a new truth. We have a new quest for truth. We have a new purpose, a new meaning to life. We definitely are seeing the bigger, broader possibilities and horizons that await us and prepared us for December. Now, speaking of coming into December, yes, we're still very much in Sag energy. Of course, we will be working towards that solstice energy when we shift into Capricorn season, thus the beginning, right? Now, if you're kind of diving into the old calendar, December is the very first month, let's say, of the last quarter of the astrological calendar, which is essentially time to wind down, time to move inward, time to reflect over how it is that we got here. And, typically winter season where we're kind of a little bit more introverted, a little bit more to ourselves, trying to, preserve our strength and really get a plan for the future. Because of course, when the spring hits in Aries season with the new astrological calendar, that is where we have to get to work, where we come back to life, where we start planting the seeds, where we start really getting organized on what it is that we want to bring to life for the brand new cycle. But we have a little bit of work to do. And of course, with Sag season ushering us into December, we are flying high in this fire energy. We haven't had fire energy for a very long time. So having the sun and Mercury and Venus in this fire energy of Sag is definitely giving us a new perspective, a new vision, a new lease on life, a new spark, a new passion, a new desire, a new path and direction that we definitely are being called to pursue. And as we move through the very first weeks of December, we're going to have some very, very powerful aspects to help us kind of start fresh, if you will, in a lot of different ways. So just keep in mind that as we ended out the month of November, we had that new moon in Sag just a day after the sun moved into Sag. And on that same day, we had Jupiter, the ruler over Sag, go direct in this Piscean energy. So essentially, we're getting this redo, if you will, that we didn't do correctly back in March and April of this year. And Jupiter, who is all about growth and expansion, being in this Pisces energy, we've learned our lesson. We have definitely been put through the ringers. We have a new faith, a new trust, a new, I'm going to say, perspective on why it is that we had to go through, what it is that we went through. This Piscean energy, of course, is the last sign of the zodiac, which means that there is a full circle accumulation of being able to reflect back on our life lessons, on the highs and lows and the everything in between, and see where all of that was divinely scripted to push us into our raw, authentic power. And of course, We are moving in a direct position now, which means that we have a new understanding, new perspective, new lease on life, if you will. Creativity is coming back to us. Passions, desires are coming back to us. And of course, we are ready to boss up and really face some of the obstacles and challenges in order to make something good out of all of the things that weren't as good. Let's just call them bad. Anywho, we're coming into December, and very early on in December, we have Neptune, another outer planet, going direct in Pisces as well. Now, Neptune, when retrograde, so for the last approximately 5 months, we've had basically a bitch slap of reality. The rose-colored glasses got slapped off of our face. We could not run. We could not hide. We could not bury our head in the sand. We had to face some very tough love life lessons. We had to face our truth, our reality. We had to do the freaking hard spiritual and emotional work in our lives. That's what Neptune is all about. We lost sight of our dreams. We lost sight of our faith. We really were tested in a spiritual sense, and of course, depleted a lot of life force energy. Now that Neptune is going direct, we get to put those rose-colored glasses on again and see life from a different hue, a different lens, so to speak. Things don't have to be as ugly. We tend to want to look at the positive side of life, the positive silver linings of the not so nice situations. And of course, now that Neptune will be going direct, again, the new ideas are coming in, new levels of creativity. We have a different awareness, a different level of enlightenment. We're more confident about ourselves because essentially we just went through hell and we're still standing. So now we're kind of redeeming ourselves. We are aligning with the new vision, with the new dream. We are peeling back the layers of the things that we basically wanted to bury our head in the sand about, and we're looking to tackle some of these problems from a new observer type of mentality. Of course, having learned and accumulated a lot of spiritual lessons and spiritual knowledge and wisdom. We have more faith in ourselves, in the universe, in our dreams, in our visions. And of course, the ringer that we just went through definitely did a number on our belief system, especially when it comes to believing in ourselves. But now we are, picking ourselves up, we're dusting ourselves off. We are looking out in the world again to identify the beauty in it instead of the ugliness. We are looking for new ideas, new inspirations. And overall, we are just going to feel that forward movement, especially in our emotions and in our healing path. Now, Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information, ruler of communication, will be moving out of this fiery energy of Sag and will be moving into Capricorn energy. Now, let me just say, Sag energy was great because it brought the positivity back. It brought big ideas back. We were a little bit more direct and straightforward with expressing ourselves and communicating our ideas, our feelings to other people. However, that fire energy really pushes us to the extremes, right? We dreamt the biggest dream. We had the biggest goals, the biggest ideas. And for many of us, we are going to suffer a little bit of disappointment when Mercury moves into Capricorn, because Capricorn energy is an earth energy. It grounds us out. We have to be a little bit more methodical and practical and logical in our thinking, in our communicating. We like to concentrate a little bit more on our to-do list and actually being productive in life instead of just, going off into la la land and conjuring up a dream that maybe we will never even get to bring to life because there wasn't enough energy and action being backed in trying to manifest certain elements of the ideas and dreams that we were having under the Sag energy. And, in this Capricorn energy, we get a little bit more somber. We get a little bit more serious. We really don't have time to waste. We don't have time for bullshit. We want to examine what needs to be done. We want to be realistic about it. We want to be focused on, practical matters instead of living in la la land. We want to be a little bit more organized in life. We weren't getting anywhere in that Sag energy. It was too scatterbrained. We couldn't even complete a thought, let alone hold an idea to its completion. And so this Capricorn energy grounds us out and gives us the foundation that we need in order to actually put the pieces together so that we can sort out, what is good, what is bad, what is relevant, what is not, what is important, what isn't, in order for us to get our shit together. The Capricorn energy is the manifesting energy of the zodiac. Yes, it comes with a great weight of the roles and responsibilities that we have in life. We, of course, are thinking very long term in this Capricorn energy, which isn't a bad thing, especially seeing as we're about to, jump into a new year. But it's just the vibe. We go from flying high and feeling good and hella inspired in the Sag energy to, serious, somber, semi-negative Nancy in this Capricorn energy, which can feel a little bit of a sudden jolt, let's call it, when we make the shift. Now, of course, we will adapt to it, but we have to be just a little bit more focused on the fact that we are going to have a sudden shift in our mental plane and in our communication style when Mercury makes that move. And not that I'm trying to get too ahead of myself here, but towards the end of December, we will have Mercury go retrograde in this Capricorn energy. That's right. We will be entering into 2023 with Mercury being in a retrograde. More on that in just a second. So, of course, December offers us our full moon in Gemini energy. We'll be having that on December 7th. And this particular moon event will be taking place at 16 degrees. And that's about halfway through this Gemini energy, this Gemini lesson. And of course, a full moon is here to illuminate some of the details that we may have missed and definitely piecing things together back to Gemini season when we had that new moon in Gemini. We are definitely going to be examining all of the information, all of the changes, all of the, I'm going to say, details that we missed and new perspectives, new ideas that we want to kind of pursue from here. It is kind of wading out the weeds, if you will. Of course, I will do a lot more in depth on what this full moon in Gemini is going to be, but just know that it is teaming up with Mars at 16 degrees, who is retrograde in this Gemini energy. And you best believe that that is going to bring a brand new, I'm going to say, anger, aggression, frustration, even passion and desire if we're lucky. But I feel like we have to get rid of a lot of the anger and frustration before we can align with the inspiration and passion of the Mars energy. It is definitely going to be a full release. We're going to have a lot of words that we have to get out of our physical bodies. There's a lot of things bubbling up in us, and we're just not going to be able to keep our mouth shut, which, we're going to have to do responsibly. But at the same time, there is a lot that we've been harboring within ourselves, and that energy is just eating us away. And we do need a little bit of time to kind of get out, that uneasiness, that restlessness, that buried anger, that, repressed frustration. We do have to kind of clear the doorway of this gunk in order for us to be able to walk through it freely. So we're definitely going to have a very high point of energy, especially affecting the mental plane and our overall disposition where anger and aggression is concerned with that full moon in Gemini. And shortly after, we have Venus, the goddess of love and beauty and worth and pleasure and money, moving out of that fiery Sag energy and moving into Capricorn. Now, again, kind of following the whole Mercury transit, anytime that we're moving out of Sag energy and into Capricorn energy, it can feel like we are kind of splatting on the earth, jumping out of a plane where we were flying high and had big ideas and big perspectives and exhilarating, experiences. And then we just hit the ground, right? Slows us right down. But what is good about this, first of all, to rewind to this time last year, Venus was in Capricorn, but she was preparing to go retrograde in Capricorn. And then, as if retrograding in Capricorn wasn't tough already for us to kind of examine our self-worth and our self-confidence and to rearrange our physical lives with relationships and money matters in order to align with a higher meaning, a higher purpose for ourselves. But Venus spent most of her retrograde dancing with the devil, with Pluto, the god of the underworld himself, which highlighted the pain and the struggle and the trauma that we've gone through, and, you know, all the times that we gave our power away, and where it is that we've endured in relationship dynamics to, you know, push us into our power, but most likely got stuck in a state of paralysis of the pain that other people caused us. So the fact that Venus is moving into Capricorn this year around, and not going retrograde in it and not dancing with the devil in it, means that we are about to get very real with a brand new level, a brand new foundation on what it is that we want for ourselves. Keep in mind, Capricorn energy, yes, it's low and slow. Yes, it's focused on long term, but it does not mess around. It is the manifester of the zodiac, the general foreman of the zodiac, and we are about to boss up in big ways. We got to get low and slow, down to the nitty gritty, very serious about our values, about our self-worth, our self-confidence, about our relationships, and about our money matters, which Capricorn loves to focus on. We definitely want to take a good look at our current standing, who it is that we're associating with, what kind of opportunities we walked away from, what kind of opportunities we want to manifest. This is essentially getting down to where it is that we need to rebuild, restructure, reorganize the foundation in our lives, starting with the way that we treat ourselves. We see that kind of energy exchange and energy dynamic shift in our personal relationships, how it is that we carry ourselves, what it is that we tolerate. We see those opportunities come back to us in order to increase our money matters, our safety, security, our resources. We are putting ourselves in a situation where we're trying to visualize the kind of opportunities that we actually want to be presented to us in our realms that will help us boss up. Now, here's the thing. Venus, which is a feminine energy, we're very receptive. We want to go with the flow. Capricorn energy, very rigid, not very fluid at all, and would potentially like to assert and take control of things instead of just letting things happen around us. Venus, who is very all up in her feels, is going to have a hard time expressing our feelings because Capricorn energy would prefer us to stay busy and productive and not dabble in, you know, the feel realm. Now, that's going to have a major impact on, you know, our relationships because we get a little bit cold and distant and I'm going to say detached in our relationships, but it's all because we are kind of looking to adopt a little bit more of a traditional value, a traditional interaction in our relationships, if you will. It's not the best time to be like, you know, showering your loved ones with gifts and loves and PDA, because realistically speaking, the love language that we got going on here in this earthy Capricorn energy is acts of service. Let's get shit done. Let me show you how much I care about you by taking care of the things that you would worry about in life. Let me show you that you're safe, you're secure, that, you know, this is stable, that you don't have to worry about anything here. This is definitely going to be a shift in our heart space. I'm going to say a welcomed one from this Sag energy because we're kind of ripping and tearing at the possibilities. But it's time to actually get down to doing the work. Actually time to get down to the nitty gritty on what it is that we want for ourselves in a long-term projection, not only for ourselves, but for the people that we love that, you know, are going to be sharing our lives with us. And of course, our finances, the kind of money matters that we're sitting in and the kind of opportunities that we want to usher in with this new energy. We have Jupiter entering into Aries energy on the 20th, the day before the winter solstice, the day before Capricorn season. Jupiter, of course, the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, blessings, abundance. Jupiter entered into Aries back in May of this year, got a little bit into those, first degrees, but then went retrograde. And after retrograding back to the very beginning of the Aries energy, we slipped back into the Pisces energy at the end of October. And then, of course, at the end of November, we just came out of that retrograde. We went direct in that Pisces energy. And here we are getting a redo in this Aries energy here on the 20th. So this brings us a lot of beautiful opportunities to grow, opportunities to expand our horizons, our resources. This Aries energy is a fire energy. It is the very first sign of the zodiac, which means that there is a brand new chapter unfolding here. We want to initiate something new. We want to jump into new projects. We want to be a little bit more independent. We want to kind of reinvent ourselves. We've been through a lot, and the growth that we've been through has essentially changed who it is that we are, how it is that we present ourselves in the world, and what it is that we feel inclined to pursue from here. So Jupiter being a very, I'm going to say, lucky energy, we're attracting the best types of situations for us, especially when we take the lead, when we're aggressive with what it is that we want, when we identify what it is that we're passionate about, when we identify what it is that we desire, when we are putting ourselves out there in a way that we haven't before. This is like a brand new enthusiasm, a brand new boldness, a brand new courage that we're putting out into the world. And you best believe that when you boss up, you step up, you put yourself out there, the universe is going to reward you. So this is like we have a brand new confidence in ourselves. We have a brand new faith in ourselves. We understand what opportunities we didn't do so well back in May when we entered into this Aries energy the first time. And because we've been through so much, because we're now on a different life path, we're kind of positioned well in order to take the life lessons that we've just gone through and package them up in a brand new type of, I'm going to say, present. And presents are fun. Presents are exciting. Presents are something to smile about. And right now we have a brand new opportunity in this present moment to realize that life is what you make it. Despite of all the pain, despite of all the trauma, despite all of the hardships, we didn't have control over that. But there is silver linings in even the darkest of situations. And what we do have control over is how we operate moving on from that. What it is that we can do to make things better. What we can do to make good things happen out of bad things. And there's like this brand new renewal, this brand new spirit, if you will, that we're embodying, especially in Aries energy, is the fire energy, life force energy, that we are trying to stay more in the present moment and trying to, not project ourselves so far in the future that we get lost and overwhelmed with all that we would have to do in actually getting there. And so, it is going to be a very powerful shift. Again, this isn't the first time that we've jumped into this energy. It's just a little bit of a redo. So, it's almost like we have a huge magnification of the rear view mirror of where it is that we're coming from. But we're drawing a line in the sand. We're not going to let our past dictate our future. However, we are plucking the silver linings, the tough love life lessons out of our past experiences in order to visualize this bigger, greater, grander picture that we wouldn't have even realized was possible for us even this time back in the spring when Jupiter entered Aries energy the first time around. So that is going to be a major shift for us in the month of December. And then, like I said, just hours later on the 21st, we have the winter solstice being kind of initiated when the sun moves into Capricorn energy. And Capricorn season is an earth season. It's very low and slow. We tend to be weighted down. We tend to be a little bit somber and serious. We're motivated by responsibility, by doing a good job, by setting, new goals goals for ourselves, by being ambitious. We have a lot of focus on wanting to create order out of the chaos that has just ensued. We have a lot of pride in the progress and the productivity that we're able to actually get underneath our belt. We are focused on completing things, bringing them full circle so that we can clean the slate and we can jump into something new, which is very much in alignment with this whole new year energy. We want to reflect back and see our accomplishments, but just as we look back and celebrate our accomplishments, we are also setting new goals for us to reach. We are recognizing where it is that we have to boss up. We're recognizing new roles and responsibilities that we have to jump into. We are recognizing where new routines, new systems, new relationships, new foundations in our lives need to be built in order to get us from where it is that we're at to where it is that we desire to be. We are focused on the logical, practical strategy and plan that we need to come up with in order to actually know what is achievable and what is not, what is realistic and what is not, what is actually going to manifest and be brought into this physical realm and what is not. And again, coming out of this Sag energy where everything was big, anything was possible. Yep, it was good to kind of ride with that vibe and dream a big dream, but it might not have been realistic. And Capricorn energy grounds us out, brings those big ideas, brings those dreams and possibilities into the realm of Earth. Earth is grounding. We have to make a foundation out of earth in order to have a stable foundation to build our dreams upon. This is about seeing the actual framework, the actual plan, the boundaries or the limitations that are going to prevent us from bringing this big vision that we got in Sag season into actual manifestation, into our reality. We are very focused on our long-term goals here. And, we're just trying to kind of tackle what needs to be tackled first. And if that means cleaning up some situations of the past before we go ahead and start, achieving our new goals, then so be it. We have a lot of work to do. Earth energy is all about taking the action in the here and now to do what needs to be done to clean up the residual effects of the past in order for us to have a clean slate to build upon. So of course, that's going to be a very interesting shift. Again, the solstice energy adds a different layer onto it. We're very introverted. We want to retreat. It's pretty interesting that, of course, the holiday season is smack dab in the middle, technically at the beginning of Capricorn season. Capricorn energy doesn't really, I'm going to say, care for the hype, for the fluff, for the fantasy, for the holidays, for the emotion, for the sentimental value that most people get caught up around the holiday season. We just technically want to get the to-do list done and over with, want to move through, try to enjoy the present moment so that we can focus on the more important things, which just happen to be the long-term goals. So, on the 23rd, we have the new moon taking place in Capricorn energy. And the new moon in Capricorn is always a beautiful time to focus on the long-term goals, our long-term, dreams that we're looking to get to work and actually start to manifest and actually start to build. Let me just tell you, and although I will do, again, more in-depth astro forecast and, of course, the moon guide on this particular moon event, we are going to be in a lot of earth energy, okay? We are going to have basically a stellium of 5 planets in this Capricorn energy. Then we also have the true node and Uranus in this Taurus energy as well. So we got Earth on Earth on Earth on Earth on Earth. And this is low and slow, and it may be a little bit too low and slow, and it may be a little bit too serious and a little bit too somber. But guess what? Sometimes we need to have the fun just ripped out of the air in order for us to get focused on what it is that we actually want for ourselves. And this is going to be a prime example of doing that. We also have Chiron, the wounded healer, coming out of a retrograde and going direct, which is going to add a little bit of a flare to this particular new moon as well. And we just have a lot of energy being built up here on the 23rd, which is going to make for a very interesting dynamic, especially with this new moon that wants us to usher in new qualities, new characteristics, new seeds, new intentions that we want to plant for our long-term goals and ambitions. And we are definitely going to be thinking of that. However, most people miss this opportunity because they're all caught up with the Christmas crap. And if you do not take time to focus in and really align with the energies of this very potent Capricorn energy, you're going to miss some beautiful opportunities to set the proper foundation down for the 2023 year. We have to get very serious and make some solid plans and set the stage and really look at the framework of what it is that we want to bring to life if we actually stand a chance in hell of receiving the rewards and the blessings from the brand new beginnings that we're looking to usher into our lives. And, we got a lot going on, especially seeing how this is taking place right before the holiday season, right before the brand new year. And, the fact that it's taking place at a 1 degree following the new moon in Sag that we just had in November at a 1 degree, you should be making the connection that this is a brand new clean slate for us. This is setting the tone for the next 2.5 year cycle. And that's why I say, I hope that you're able to devote some time to do the work, to align with these energies, because this is one particular new moon energy that you are not going to want to miss. You're not going to F it up. It does have a huge projection on the success that we are able to actually manifest for ourselves over the next 2 year cycle. And of course, we are going to wrap up December, wrap up 2022 with a good old-fashioned Mercury retrograde. We have Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of communication and how we express ourselves, going retrograde in Capricorn energy. We're going to get to that 24th degree in Capricorn, and then Mercury's going to say, okay, can't go into the new year like this. I got to reflect back a little bit, see what I could have done differently, see where there's new opportunities for me to do things differently, for me to reflect back, for me to revise my plans, for me to revisit my dreams, for me to renew myself, my spirit, my goals, my ambitions, my determination, my motivation, and see what it is that I can do differently. So Mercury retrogrades are never fun. Couldn't we agree about that? And Mercury going retrograde, kind of giving us the bridge, leaving 2022 and entering 2023 is going to be a huge reflection and revision on what it is that basically got damaged, destroyed, and essentially died for us in our physical realms, especially where roles and responsibilities and ideas and relationships are concerned. And not that we're trying to put ourselves in a funk of mourning and grief entering into a brand new year. But what we do need to do is reflect on what was taken away, what was removed, and where we have the opportunity to rebuild something better, stronger, safer, more stable, more secure in its place. So, we're going to have a little bit of a cluster F in our mental plane. I would say, again, I'm not a betting girl, but I would say that we are going to have a huge amount of nostalgia take over us for this particular time, especially reflecting back over 2022, especially reflecting back over all of the loss, all of the damage, all of the death, all of the destruction that 2022 has brought to many of us. And, Capricorn energy, where it is very stuck in the traditional ways and very stuck with what is old, tried, tested, and true, there is likely going to be a huge weight on our headspace, on our heart space, as Mercury retrogrades in these final days of December, these final days of 2022. And hopefully we are able to kind of rewire, revisit that narrative, rebuild ourselves as we enter into 2023. There's a lot to it. And of course, where Capricorn energy is very focused on long-term, there's going to be a long-term reflection before we set some long-term goals for ourselves. And I think that it's definitely going to add a very wonky layer of energy, especially where the holiday season is alive and well and Mercury just cluster Fs all of our communications. That's probably going to be fun. And yeah, we're definitely going to reach a different level of confusion. But what I know to be true is that confusion leads to clarity, and a breakdown, especially in communication, leads to a breakthrough. And, the typical things with Mercury being retrograde, you don't want to, align with anything or sign anything or jump into anything new. This is a time of reorganization, restructuring, reflecting, revising, realigning, recalibrating, right? And I think that we're going to struggle to do that. But I think that by the time Mercury actually goes direct in the new year, we're going to know that there is no time to waste, that there's no time to debate the things back and forth. We're exactly sure of the direction of the path that we're going to take. What's interesting is that Mars, of course, will be going direct in the new year as well, very early on in the new year. So with Mercury, the ruler of our mental plane, and Mars, the ruler of our physical energy, our action, our passion, our desires, going direct relatively in the same kind of frame and window, you best believe that we have new ideas that we are going to immediately take action on. They're not going to just be, actions that we take without thinking the long-term consequences. This is strategy. This is plans. And this is something that might not feel good because we're in it right now, and we will continue to be in it with Mercury going retrograde in Capricorn as well. But through the retrograde and as we enter into January, you best believe that we are going to get our shit together. We are going to be in alignment in our head space, in our heart space. We're going to be able to engage the physical body when Mars goes direct, and we're able to take action in our outside realm. So, as I'm going to say, iffy as it is to contemplate a Mercury retrograde, kind of bridging the gap from 2022 to 2023, I feel like it is going to bring a lot of aha moments, a lot of beautiful reflection time, seeing how things needed to be pieced together. We're going to kind of reprocess the year that we had, not from a state of survival, but of a state of thriving. And with those new ideas, those new aha moments, new inspiration, new passion, new desires are going to be born. And we're going to be able to look at the problems or the issues or the obstacles that we were faced from a brand new perspective and really become a little bit more motivated and determined now with this brand new understanding to make the good out of the bad. So that is a brief overview, believe it or not, brief, 30 minutes brief on what it is that we can expect for the month of December. Of course, I plan on breaking it down one astro forecast at a time, and we are going to jump right into it, starting with the very first astro event that we got on the docket with Neptune going direct. Again, I would advise, if you are interested in knowing how this is going to affect you personally, please consider downloading your zodiac forecast for your rising sign, for your sun sign, and get the full scope, the full picture on what December is going to mean for you. So if you're ready, let's jump into it.